who is driving this whole thing.
She's picked a fight that ultimately she's going to lose.
Right now, I've got a more pressing problem.
You would do well to be nice to me. No, that's where you're wrong. I'm making it your problem.
Home for good.
Jason vows to put Danny first before secretly leaving town, while Kai discovers Drew's shocking recovery and keeps it hidden. Valentine launches a bold bid to reclaim Windmere. Willow faces a deadly decision. Britt erupts over her eviction, and Portia suddenly goes into labor completely alone. Hi everyone. Welcome to my channel. Hope you're having a wonderful day. So let's get started. Jason makes a promise to Danny, and Portia goes into labor all alone. Today on General Hospital, Valentine plans to move back into Windmere with Charlotte. Kai learns Drew can move again, and Britt clashes with Tristan. Danny is stunned to find his father standing at the Quartermain boathouse and rushes into his arms. Jason tells him he's home now for good. Danny asks what happened to his face, and he tells his son it doesn't matter and it's over. He says the WSB let him go 2 days ago and has no idea why. Danny says this doesn't make sense, and he hadn't even told them when his dad was already on a plane home. Jason asks, told who what? Danny admits he told the WSB that Rocco shot Cullum. Jason asks if Rocco told him he did that, but Danny says he didn't. Everyone lied about it, including his own dad. Danny cries, "Why did you let them take you away?" Jason explains he had a split second to make a decision, and the WSB would never believe him or Rocco over Cullum. So, he had to make a choice and he would have done the same thing for him. Danny asks if he never once thought that they might never see one another again. Jason says he had no idea the WSB would take him so quickly, that the place he was held in was really bad, and that he wouldn't want Rocco to go through that. Danny doesn't mean to guilt-trip him, but it's been rough not knowing anything, and it's way his dad who makes these sacrifices. Jason is sorry and he will do better moving forward. Jason says from now on being his father is his only priority. Jason asks his son who he talked to at the WSB, and Danny tells him it was Jack Brennan, but he said the truth didn't matter to the WSB. Is Windmere for sale? At Windmere, Dante and another officer are bagging evidence, but the WSB pretty much wiped the place clean. Valentine and Charlotte show up, and he tells Dante he wants to buy the place. Dante isn't sure the house is for sale because the WSB has seized all of Sidwell's assets. Valentine calls that red tape and what lawyers are for. Valentine asks if they can do a walkthrough and see what the place looks like, as Charlotte really wants to see her old room. Dante has the officer take Charlotte to her room, then tells Valentine he doesn't know how he got out, but he's not happy to have him back. They get into an argument over who is hurting Charlotte more, Valentine or Lulu. Valentine turns the screws, saying he thinks Dante secretly wants Charlotte to live with him, as Charlotte's headstrong nature is rubbing off on Rocco. What's Willow's latest problem? At Willow's, Jack shows up as Nina summoned him. He's been trying to locate his black box for them, but Willow says there is a more pressing problem now. Willow tells him about the trip log in her car, putting her on the night of Jordan's accident, which she knows was tampered with. Nina hopes he can make it disappear. Jack says it's not necessary, they can't charge her with anything because they can't, and it's a non-starter. Nina suggests they get back to the black box issue. Jack was about to go to Spoon Island to get it when he got their call. Willow says they need to get that proof now, and Nina says she will go with Jack to Spoon Island to make sure he doesn't lie to them about what he finds. Where is Scout? After Nina and Jack leave, Willow checks on Drew's vitals and condition, telling him that she knows about his lie to Detective Fitzpatrick. She says that because of his little attempt at a frame-up, she sent Scout to live with Alexis. She loves having Scout here, but she can't trust Drew. She says if he weren't so vindictive, she'd let him go, but she won't let him destroy her life. That's when Kai turns up to pick up a hard copy of Willow's Universal Daycare proposal. Kai says hello to Drew, and Willow heads to get the proposal. Suddenly, Drew knocks over Willow's medical bag and stares at Kai like a deer caught in headlights. The brat is back. Back at Windmere, Valentine tells Dante that now that this WSB drama is over, he and Charlotte can live in peace. Dante says if he wants what is best for Charlotte, he'd let her live with Lulu, who gives her stability. That's when Charlotte returns and snaps, "Stability isn't locking your kid up so they can see anyone or do anything. It isn't lying to your kids. My dad trusts me and my mom doesn't, so that's why I'm going to live with my dad." Later, Charlotte and Valentine are left alone, and Charlotte says they redecorated her room, and it's hideous. Valentine admits he may have given her the wrong idea, and it will take time to buy this place and move in. In the meantime, he'll be at the Metro Court. She asks, "You're not staying with Carly?" That's when Jack and Nina arrive on WSB Business, and Charlotte learns it was Jack who advised her dad to turn himself in. Jack says clearly Z set him free as a reward. Valentine says it's a little more complicated. Charlotte gets why Jack is here, but looks at Nina and says, "Why are you here?" Welcome to General Hospital's newest doctor. At General Hospital, Liz welcomes Dr. Tristan Roberts and is about to give him a tour when Tracy shows up in a mood. She tells Tristan he would do well to be nice to her, as she's on the board, and then tells Liz they have business. Tristan heads to HR and Liz asks Tracy not to scare him off, as he's a world-class heart surgeon, and it took a coup to get him here. Tracy stepped out of the board meeting to avoid the vote to put Sunny on the board. Tracy hopes Liz and Laura are right about Sunny being good for the hospital, as her family has paid more than once for giving him the benefit of the doubt. Tracy then walks off. Tristan returns and tells Liz that he'll take a rain check on the tour. The jet lag is killing him, so he wants to check into his B&B. It turns out he's staying at Bobby's, and Liz tells him it's not really a B&B. Tristan says he saw a listing online and that it was close to the hospital. Liz says it is, and they have great BLTs. Dante drop in. Dante shows up later and chats with Liz. He thinks he'll be back to being a detective soon with Anna back, so he wanted to schedule a physical. Liz says it sounds like things are getting back to normal, but Dante says not all of it's great, and Valentine is back in town. He says Valentine wants to move back into Windmere with Charlotte, and Charlotte has also made it clear she wants to live with her dad. Liz is sorry and asks if something else is going on. Dante admits he is beginning to think Charlotte is a bad influence on Rocco. She asks if he's going to keep them apart. Back at the Quartermain estate, Tracy finds Danny and Jason at the boathouse and says she knew they hadn't seen the last of him. Jason says he was released and is a free man. Jason asks for a favor. He'd like to take Danny away for a few days so they can sort out things. A war of words. Jordan shows up at Portia's place and hopes she tells the truth at Curtis' trial, that Isaiah provoked Curtis. She says that if Curtis is found not guilty, they can put this behind them, which will be best for everyone, including the baby. Portia informs Jordan that Curtis must take responsibility for what he's done, and that Isaiah is suing him in civil court. Jordan wonders how she'll explain to both her children that she helped send their father to prison. Portia has had enough of her stand by her man act, and it was tiresome when she used it while she was still married to Curtis. Jordan tells her to get real, as Curtis has always been her man. Jordan tells her that she doesn't get it, and Curtis' lawyer will make the argument that Isaiah left them to die on the road. Jordan thought they could make peace, but now she realizes Portia is pushing this to punish Curtis for being with her. Britt's out of luck again. At Bobby's, Britt is leaving nasty voicemails for Carly, saying she can't change the locks on her room. Isaiah walks in and is glad to see Britt, since Portia's due date is approaching and Portia will be happy to have her back. Britt admits she hasn't talked to JH or her patients yet about when she'll be back. Later, Tristan shows up and checks in with the woman at the counter. Britt overhears that Tristan has been given her room and flips out. Britt says she never officially moved out, so he should give her the key. She says Carly, the landlord, changed the locks on her. She just got out of jail and wants a shower. He asks why she was in jail, but she says it's not important. Isaiah steps in and says there must be a way to work this out. Tristan says it's clear Britt is going through something, but it's not his problem. She says she's making it his problem. In the show's final moments, at General Hospital, Dante tells Liz he's not going to make the same mistake twice, as he did when he kept Gio away from Rocco. But it might not be a bad idea for Charlotte to live with Valentine. Liz says if this gets to be too much for him, he can always vent to her. Dante says she'll never get rid of him then, but she says she can deal with that. At Bobby's, Isaiah tells Britt she's angry with the situation, not with this guy. Tristan hasn't slept in 36 hours, so he's going to bed. He wishes her luck with the landlord and scoffs that he can't imagine why she evicted her. At the boathouse, Tracy tells Jason that his going away with Danny is a great idea. Jason wants them to leave now, immediately, and asks Tracy to tell Alexis and anyone else who asks. She agrees and gives him a kiss on his cheek. She wishes them a good trip and takes off. At Windmere, Nina tells Charlotte that her brother, or the person she thought was her brother, died here. and she's still trying to wrap her head around what happened. She wants to clear his name for Albrecht's sake. Jack asks the officers to take Nina and Valentine to the launch. Charlotte tells them she won't forget what they did to her or her father. She and Valentine storm out, but Valentine promises Charlotte that they'll get their house back. Jack tells Nina that they have a problem. Valentine now knows there is something here they want. They have to find it before he does. At Willow's, Kai sees that Drew can move, but Drew signals with a blink that he doesn't want Willow to know. Willow returns and says she heard something, and Kai says he knocked over her bag. He heads out with the papers, and Willow knows Drew was signaling to Kai. Willow cries that the harder he is to control, the more creative she has to get. How does he think this is going to end? She recalls Jack advising her to kill Drew and she cries, "Don't force my hand, I won't let my kids be taken from me again." Finally, Portia tells Jordan that she and Curtis failed once, and they will fail again. Jordan storms out, and Portia is hit with pain. It's clear she's in labor.